All right, so today we are going to show you exactly how to set up a 3M Accuspray for furniture painting. Hey everybody, I'm Amy, that's Doc. We own Amy Murray Designs, and we use the 3M Accuspray to paint furniture. So, we've got a brand new one, and we're going to show you what all these parts and pieces are, and how to set it up and how to get it working, okay? Before we tear into the package, I do want to point something out to you. On the back side, there is a chart that comes from 3M with suggestions on the products that you can spray. All right, so they've got this perforated so you kind of take everything out of the back, but you may actually want to keep this. I know in our first shop, we had this kind of taped up on the wall as a little bit of a cheat sheet as to what you can spray with each size nozzles. I'm going to kind of go over that with you here, but this is a pretty in-depth list on the back. So you want to make sure that you save that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get it opened up. I'm going to leave that to you because I'm not allowed to have knives.
I don't have a knife. I have just a pair of snips. I'm just going to clip off the zip tie that it has holding it in, and hope it don't fall out.
Okay.
There you go.
So this is the gun itself, okay, the spray gun. And then we're gonna open up the rest of this package here. We've got to get the regulator out. Yep, go for it, Captain. They should have this list somewhere, not on the back. Right. I guess if you do it nicely, you can kind of put it back together. Okay, these are the nozzles here that don't want to come out.
It'd be easier to get out if you really want to.
Yeah, rip it. You can always snap a picture of the back before you open it up, so you can just tear it open.
That's the normal thing to do now. Just take a picture. Because we all have them smartphones. I think I can take this, rip it. Oh. It's like Christmas. It's garbage. Seriously, it's like ripping off of the package for Christmas morning.
Go ahead and, you're going to open up everything?
Might as well.
Yeah.
That way we can get rid of the trash. Empty.
All right, good deal. Okay, so let me show you what all these parts and pieces are, so that you can get up to speed as we're talking, okay? So this is the gun, obviously, and this is the gun regulator. This is the cup, and this is the collar. These go together, cup and collar. These are liners. These are lids.
Filtered, they're all filtered, right?
Yep, they're all filtered. These are the nozzles, and there's different sizes. Plus, I have an extra one here. This one does not come with the pack, so I will go into detail there. this is your mixing insert, okay? This goes inside of the cup like that. And then there's a little package here, and this has different colored, they're like little different colored rings, okay? And you can change the mount on the gun. I've never used these. This would be like if you had a certain setting that you like to use.
I think they're for multiple guns too. If you have multiple guns, you can have
like one coated for top coat, one coated for yeah. And these are the little caps, okay, that seal off the lids here, okay. So these little colored rings, I've never used them. I'm just gonna put these back in the bag. So let's talk about the things that we have here that did not come with that standard kit. So all this came with the kit. So we've got a couple other things that we want to show you. We have a water separator. This is an inline water separator. We ordered it from Amazon. They're $8. They're super cheap. But these capture water from your air hose before it goes through your gun. So this is a very inexpensive additional investment that I highly recommend, especially if you're spraying top coat, because you don't want water in your top coat. The other things that we have here, we have what are these called? These are quick connects, right?
Quick connects, yep.
Okay, this quick connect goes on the air hose, right? And this quick connect goes on the gun. You're gonna see us put this together.
They call them male and female. This obviously female,
hooks,
male.
Yeah, hooks into there. Now, these are not the standard ones that you buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight. Okay, I want to show you. I'm going to come up to the camera so you can see the difference. So we get a special HVLP. Now you can see the inlet. See how this one's so much bigger than this one? This is a special HVLP. It's made for paint guns, so it allows more air in there. And this is the standard one that you would get at the hardware store. Okay. This is made by Devil Biss, and we get it from Napa.
And if you use your standard one,
so this standard one won't fit in here.
It'll fit in there, but it'll leak. You'll hear it. It'll hiss. So that's what I wanted to point out.
And how much were these? Were they? I think they were like $30 for both pieces.
I think 24, 25. 30,
Okay.
Something.
So somewhere in there. This is not a necessity, but I will tell you that we've enjoyed having these, and it has made the guns work a little bit better. If you have maybe an undersized air compressor, this would be ideal.
The good thing about these is you don't have to pull. You don't have to pull here. You just push it in, and then you pop it out.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just put this thing together. I'm gonna
Expect it to go so far.
that was a good one.
Okay, what I have here is just some plumber's tape. You can get this at any hardware store. It's just a pipe thread tape. I call it plumber's tape because it's mostly used for plumbing. The first attachment I'm going to put on here is the regulator. Obviously, this is your threaded end. This is the end that's going to screw on. Okay. When you're putting this tape on, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Okay, this goes to the right, so you want your tape to go around to the right.
I'm gonna bring this in.
Okay.
And
so
we're gonna get kind of up close and personal.
there you go. This is real thin. Okay, but you want to go an end up. You want to go. I guess it's clockwise. You can go clockwise. You want to go to the right with this tape. Okay. So I'm going to take the end. You don't need a whole lot. All you're doing is sealing. And you're just going to wrap it to the right, maybe 2-3 times. Don't close off the end, and it just pops off. The reason being is your overlap, your very end is to the right. So when you're screwing on, if it was this way and you'd go to screw your piece on, you would peel the tape right off, if that makes sense. So we're gonna get this started on. And it actually bottoms out. So what you're gonna do, if you're right-handed, you're left-handed, you just loosen it up enough to where you could turn your gauge, whichever side you want. I'm right-handed, so I would technically, I'm over here. I would look at the gun this way. So I want it to be here. Another thing, there's a nut off of this fitting that comes off of the gun. Okay, if you go using a wrench to crank this down, you're gonna twist this right out of socket. So I brought my wrenches so I can tighten these down. This one, but I bring the wrong wrench. I didn't bring a wrench for that, but I do have a pair of pliers. So I'm just gonna pull that tight. And it doesn't have to be tight because it's already sealed. It has a fitting on the inside that seals that, bottoms it out. So, okay, it's kind of facing right. So, and if you were left-handed, you could put it on the opposite side and regulate. Okay?
Okay. So now that we've got the regulator on, we're going to go ahead and we're going to install the water separator on the bottom of here, and then we're going to put our quick connects on.
Yep. Same thing with your tape. Hold the gun.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put this on just so I'm protecting the needle.
Same thing. Wrap your tape. Don't go over the opening. You might have to work it a little bit, but if you don't hold it down right, it'll slip out of your off the threads. Make sure you're smooth. Female end, male end. Pretty simple. You can probably hand tighten this, so you're not you don't have a chance of breaking it. So there's your separator. Did you show them the plug on there's a plug on the bottom?
I will once we hook it up. Yeah.
Right on the bottom. That's where your water will come out if you start filling up with water. Now we're going to put our male end of our quick connect fitting, which goes to the hose. All your tape's going to go the same direction. I like to put a little extra on here, that way it seals properly. You see, I'm not getting into the opening. This just screws on, and I'm pretty sure I got the right wrench for this one. I'm going to hold the separator. Actually, I'm going to hold with a wrench, and then I'm going to just tighten this down. It don't have to be muscled on. That's what the tape's for. The tape helps seal everything. And this will be the end of your hose, and
Yep.
It pops right on.
We already have one of these on the end of our hose, so we don't have to worry about that. But I'm going to go ahead and before we connect it to the air, I'm going to show you these two knobs up here on the gun. One of these is, the top one is your pattern. Okay, this is what makes your paint wider or narrower as it's coming out. And this bottom one is the flow. Okay, and this controls the amount of air that, or the amount of paint that's going to come out. It's pretty standard now with guns that you will turn these all the way open. Okay, so your flow, you can just turn it all the way open and it won't go any further. Now the pattern will, did I say that right? The pattern, you open this up all the way and it can't go any further. The flow, if you keep turning this knob, what happens is this whole thing will come out and your fluid needle will come out. So what you want to do is you want to pull your trigger in. Okay, so I've got my trigger held in and I'm all the way open, and then I'm going to start closing it back up. And when I feel this move, when I feel pressure, I'm going to stop. Okay? This isn't on all the way, that's why.
I was going to say we could take that out and show them.
We can. So this right here.
Just be careful. It's brand new, that spring's tight. When you're unscrewing this and taking if you take your fluid needle out for the first time, just be really careful because there is a spring in there, and since it's brand new and never been used, that spring is really tight, so it can fly out of there.
See the spring inside of there? And this is the fluid needle. Okay? So you're probably going to have to push this back in. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm holding this all the way down.
You should get it started first.
And I got it started. And when I feel this pressure on my thumb, that's when you know that your flow is all the way open. We used to count by number of twists, which you can. Okay, there we go.
There's a notch on the back too, so you can go by quarter turns, half turns.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that, and now let me move them back a little bit. We'll get a bigger angle, and then we'll talk about the nozzles. Okay, so nozzles, they're color coded, all right? So they come from a range of 1.2, which is going to be the least amount of product, to a 2.0, which is going to be the maximum amount of product, okay, that will come out. The red is the 2.0. It is not included in the kit, okay? So these come, you buy them in a box of 4. So you can get that separately. If you have something that you need to spray that is going to require you to have that size. Now your 1.2, which is the blue, this is going to be for the thinnest of the material. For example, lacquers, shellac, powder glaze, anything that's super, super thin. The 1.3, so you got a 1.2 and a 1.3. The 1.3 can be used as a 1.2. I've not really seen much difference there. It's great to have one in case you need it, but we don't buy these. We typically will use the 1.2s or we use the 1.8s. These are the two that we use the most. The orange, which is the 1.4, this is great for top coats. For example, General Finishes high performance top coat, I would use this for. I would also use it for Minwax oil modified polyurethane. So this we will use for top coat. The clear one, or yeah, we call it the clear or the black, just because there's nothing there but the black. These are the ones that we use all the time. We use these for primer, for paint. I use them for specific top coats. So these two right here, if I had to tell you, the two to buy and have on hand, these would be the two right here. The 1.8 and the 1.2s. Now, the nozzles, okay, they fit on the gun. You're just gonna slide the nozzle on. All right, and then with your stronger hand, you have to squeeze this to get it inside of the little clips. And then what I do is I push this down on something just to make sure that they're totally in there. And when you hook up the air, you're gonna hear if it's leaking around here, and you may have to go back and push it down in. Because this is brand new, it might be a little bit tougher as you start to wear it in. It's gonna loosen up a little bit. So really make sure that you've got something sturdy to push down to make sure that your nozzles are on tight. All right, so your insert, right? This is just a plastic insert. This has your thinning ratios on it. It goes from a 1:1 to an 8 to 1:1. So that just goes inside the cup. And then these liners, this is what you're gonna put the actual product in. It's gonna slide down in, and you can measure. Okay, we're gonna go through all of that, but you can measure your product here and add in your thinning agents if required.
Make sure the liner's in the cup before you pour the paint.
Yes, I've done that a couple times, and
I've done that.
It makes a mess. And then your lids, okay, so there's two different kinds of lids here. And the blue is a smaller filter than the clear. You can see inside here. Let me show you. So you can see inside there's a liner in here. This is a filter, which is really, really nice to have. This blue is a stronger filter. It's got a lower...
Probably a finer mesh, yep.
Yeah, it's like a micron, they call it. I don't know. I don't ever get the blue ones. I always use the clear ones. All right, so the lids just fit right down on top. Got to make sure that you kind of roll them on the inside of the liner, and then you attach your collar and make sure this is really tight. All right, and so you've got your product in there, your gun's all put together. Basically, this is how easy it is. You just, well, this will be down, and you're gonna put your gun on and you're gonna twist it, and then you're all ready to paint. So
there's two rows of locking on that.
yes,
I never understood why.
I don't know. These, okay, so the nozzles and the liners and the lids, they're all disposable. However, we don't throw them away. We actually wash these out. So you could paint for a good, I don't know, I guess it depends on how often you're painting, but I think when I first got started, I don't think I bought any of these supplies until I was a couple months in, because I would just wash these and reuse them. Your nozzles, you're gonna tell by, it's just not gonna spray as nice when these need to be replaced, or what'll happen is their clips on the sides will wear out, and they'll pop off.
As soon as you pull the trigger.
It'll pop off, and that's when you know it's time to replace them. But I really feel like you could get a good 4 to 5 sprays out of each one. You have to imagine that this gun, this system, was designed for automotive paint spraying. So these are designed to spray an entire car without being replaced. So if you think of the square footage of a car versus square footage of what you're painting, you know, you should be able to get, like, just for a buffet, you'll be able to get a ton of uses out of these. So it never fails. Our dogs always bark when we're on video, so we're just gonna apologize for that. Nothing we can do. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Should
Some of
we?
the caps. If you have leftover paint.
Yeah, this just goes down in here, so you can save it. So I'm pretty sure we'll go over that when we talk about
Sure.
the individual spraying videos. But what I'd like to do is just hook this up
All right.
to the air, and we will see how good of a job we did, right?
Hope it don't leak.
I know.
Please don't leak.
No whammies.
Now I don't have to pull this. I just push down. There you go.
Okay, there we go. This regulator, okay, it should be wide open. Yep, we're holding good pressure.
Wide open.
Mm-hmm. Yep, perfect. Good job. And that just
Yay.
pops off. That, my friends, is how you put together the 3M Accuspray.
There you have it.